and known as the Lebanese Express for his ability to plow through defensive linemen. But Yusuf had no interest in sports and had never tried out for any of the teams. The head football coach could hardly believe that Yusuf and his brother were related. "Guess there's only one express train in the family," the coach had said. All Yusuf cared about was the stage, the spotlight hot on his skin, the wooden floorboards squeaking beneath his feet. The Arab boys in his class and in the neighborhood distanced themselves from him following his performance in the Crucible. They thought he was too girly. Even now, Yusuf missed wearing costumes and having the makeup artist highlight his face. But he had a new role, one that came with props and a revolving stage. He kept a makeup kit in his briefcase, and every now and then, before stepping out of his car, he powdered his cheeks and forehead and put on eyeliner. That early afternoon in mid-September, when Yusuf arrived at the front door of Uncle Sam's house, leaves were starting to change color and fall. An American flag fluttered from a pole in the front yard. Banners sporting the logos of the Detroit Lions, the Detroit Tigers, the Detroit Red Wings, and the Detroit Pistons hung from the railing of the front porch. And there was even a banner for the Great Lakes Loons, a minor league baseball team in Midland, Michigan. After the attacks of 9/11, Uncle Sam had begun decorating his house with patriotic and athletic symbols, even though he didn't care for baseball or football. He only knew that Americans were obsessed with their sports teams. He'd also changed his name from Samir to Sam. The house was a one-story, and as he stood outside of it, Yusuf realized that all the window blinds, or at least all the blinds he could see from the porch, were closed. When he knocked on the door, Uncle Sam opened it and stuck his head out while looking side to side. He quickly ushered Yusuf in and bolted the door behind him. He wore a gray Detroit Lions sweatshirt and matching gray sweatpants. His curly silver hair sat atop his head like a stormy sea. A short, pudgy man. His eyes were red and swollen. He and Yusuf's father had grown up together in Bint Dishbel, a village in southern Lebanon, near the Israeli border, where, as boys, they had been inseparable, riding around town on the back of a donkey, taking turns with the reins. They'd even immigrated to the U.S. together after the Israeli invasion of Lebanon in 1982, landing jobs at the Ford Rouge plant in Dearborn. After several years of standing on the assembly line and having to yell over the sound of churning machines, Uncle Sam had used all his savings to purchase a gas station on Schaefer Road. His business had prospered, allowing him to buy a house and start a family. However, when his patriotic fervor blossomed following 9/11 and he began calling his wife Hanan Hannah and his sons Abdullah and Nasser, Abraham and Nicholas, and bought them all a Detroit Lions wardrobe, when he suspected that their landline was being tapped and that the white men in suits walking in their neighborhood were either FBI or Homeland Security agents, when he'd nearly lost his mind, chewed his nails until they bled, could hardly sleep anymore, and spent every waking hour terrified that the government would accuse him of supporting terrorist organizations and then revoke his family's American citizenship and send them all back to Lebanon, or, worse, to a black hole. His wife lost her hair from the stress he had put her under and asked for a separation. Uncle Sam ended up moving out and renting the house he now lived in. Since arriving in America close to 40 years ago, he had always felt that the government had its eyes on him and his fellow Arabs. Back in the 80s, he feared being mistaken for a hijacker, and then 9/11 had happened, and his anxiety had skyrocketed. Last night, Yusuf had read on the City of Dearborn Facebook page that ICE had paid a visit to Uncle Sam's gas station. 2 agents had burst through the door and demanded that Uncle Sam sign a document and hand over all his employees' paperwork. He refused, trembling behind the register. They yelled at him and threatened him with deportation. He didn't budge. He knew his rights. The agents left empty-handed. Uncle Sam led Yusuf into the dimly lit living room. Yusuf sat on a couch in front of the fireplace, which had a widescreen TV hoisted above it. A large family portrait hung from the wall.